How did you know how to put this all together?
You made all these things pretty obvious, so thanks to you. You guys really dropped the ball on this one.
I would say so.
What's going on, guys? Articulated Ninja here, and first off, I want to say that I put a lot of editing, research, and work into my channel, from photography to videography. I try to make these figures look good, and you guys obviously think so based on how many people are subscribing and sending me positive messages every day. So thank you to everyone that's been enjoying my photography, my honesty in the toy community, and my humor. So this one's going to be short and sweet. I just want to add a few things from my last video that I didn't take the time to add because I thought they were like common sense things, but now I realize that they're not. And I have people in my DM saying I'm being too harsh or my evidence isn't good enough, my comparisons weren't good enough. Some people blaming COVID and inflation. That's not accurate. You can't blame COVID or inflation and say, oh well, that Batmobile that was $250 then would be way more expensive now if they did it now. And sure, it'd be a little bit more expensive, but it wouldn't be way more expensive. And we're gonna get into the evidence of that. So for everybody saying that in 2017 $250 Batmobile would be way more expensive now, let's just go to an inflation calculator and let's see how expensive supposedly it would actually be now, or at least a roundabout price. Let's kill all this COVID and inflation BS. So right here, we're at US inflation calculator. This is just one site of many that you can use. I used multiple and they all gave me a similar roundabout price, but this is one site of many that you can use. If in 1999, nope, we're gonna do 2017 because that is when that Batmobile came out, right? If in 2017 I purchased an item for $250, then in 2022, current year date, that item would cost blank. That item would cost $302.07 at an inflation rate of 20.8%. Now, you know what? Different sites, different things. Like I said, I used multiple and all of them were basically roundabout around $300. Okay. So as you guys see, this is smartasset.com. Multiple sites go. Everybody in the comments talking about, oh, inflation, economy. Yeah, good luck with that one. So we're going to put 250 and then we're going to click enter. And 250 then would be worth around 271. Sheesh, even lower than 300 at this inflation rate. Now I do understand that this is just the inflation rate. This isn't, you know, individual products. I'm sure the price of every individual product used that make up these action figures, that made up that RC, I'm sure all those individual prices are also higher. So you know what, for argument's sake, let's just bring it to 350. You know what, we can even bring it to 400. Let's make it the same price as what Haslab is asking for this plastic car with flickering lights. So as you guys see, that's me being generous. Let's bring it to 400. I'm pretty sure it would be around 300 to 350. But even if we take it to 400, there's still no comparison. What you got from Mattel versus what you're getting from absolutely no comparison. One's a remote control, sounds, lights, smoke effects, video streaming, phone applications, and what are you getting over there with Haslab? Oh, that's right. You're getting flickering lights. No sounds, no nothing, just all plastic with some flickering lights. So yeah, this kind of deads the whole inflation thing, or it's the economy. This isn't an economy problem. This is a Hasbro being greedy problem. This is a Haslab is a cash grab problem. So now that that's over and done with, let's move on to the next subject. And so guys, if you don't know, there's a company called Action Force, Valorverse Action Force. They have great action figures. Check some of my videos. I have them up on my channel. They do really well. They're really well received because majority of people do like them, especially this series 2. They really blew it out the park with series 2. That's the owner of that is Bobby Valor. He makes Action Force figures now. He used to work on the Marvel Legends team, so he has experience. I would definitely consider him an expert. He's not just a consumer. I definitely consider him an expert. He has knowledge to call it for what it is. And he spoke on this Haslab, and I'm not going to share the clip. I want you guys to go check it out. It's over on Laserpants' channel. It's the 3POA podcast. Please go check it out. It was extremely entertaining, extremely fun to watch. I will link it in the description below. But you guys see the YouTube, I'm putting up both their YouTubes. Go check them out. And he made a really good point. He didn't bash the Haslab. He didn't do none of that stuff. He just brought up literal facts, and these are facts from an expert. But he made a really, really good point. One, he said, if you have to sell something you love to get something you love, obviously something is wrong. Word for word. That is extremely powerful. I thought that made a lot of sense, especially for this Haslab. And some people saying, oh, I'll just sell this. Okay. I mean, if you're not attached to what you're selling, sure, go ahead, sell it. But if you're selling something you love to get something you love, something's kind of wrong there. And he also said, if you take apart your Sentinel, you would be surprised at all the pieces and the parts and the levels of ingenuity it took to make that thing at 26 plus inches tall. Do you believe that that much plastic and design is in this car? Obviously not. So this obviously proves they are not basing their prices off of cost. There's no adjusting. They are just bottom lining and reaching for the most amount of profit that they can receive. Now, I brought up the Sentinel in my video before Valid did this interview. Before the 3POA podcast happened, I brought up the Sentinel in my video, but it's obvious stuff. So, you know, great minds do think alike as well, but I feel like even the simple basic minds should be able to see the scam lab for what it is. It is what it is. I don't even want it to be this way because I love GhostRider. I wanted to participate in this, but I can't. With good conscience, I can't participate in this because I feel like I'm getting walked all over. So I can't participate in this. If you can, if you're that attached to this character, do it 100%. I want you to get the product and I want you to be happy with it, guys. So I took the time to weigh the Sentinel. Seriously, look, came out to 8 pounds and 12 ounces. Do you actually believe this plastic car is going to weigh more than 5 pounds, if that? No die cast, couldn't even be painted like a shiny chrome, nothing, no sounds. So the Sentinel, another project they released, proves the value is not worth the price here. Oh, let me guess, you inflation people, you economy people are going to say, oh, well, the Sentinel was before inflation. If they do the Sentinel now, that thing's going to cost like $750. You see how ridiculous that's literally how you economy people sound. I want to make comparisons like that. No, if they do the Sentinel now, what are we talking, a year or two ago? If they, come on, stop. But I guess another question is, if this is how they price things, even things that are not worth the price, was the Sentinel even worth $350? I don't know. That's subject for a different video on a different day. We're just talking about the Haslab and how they honestly must believe that their adult consumer base is blind, because they expose themselves, because that essentially is what they have done with how greedy they are. Also, as far as vehicles are concerned, another really good example to bring up that I did not think about at all, completely at all. Laser Pants brought this up with Vala and Analog on that 3POA podcast. Look at this, check this out. One of them that really caught my eye and it like made a light bulb go off. Oh my God, I remember one of my female cousins having this car and I loved it. Years and years ago, literally. But he said that they're supposed to be re-releasing it, or they already did. So this Cadillac, the one he held up was this bluish color. I will put the link for it, the Amazon link, my Amazon affiliate link will be in the description below. So the one he had, I'm not sure if they're like that now. This looks like a more modern version of it. Yeah, it is, because they have the scan to see more. So I guess this is the 20 years. Yeah, this is the 20 year. They re-released it after 20 years ago. But the one that he had even had a radio. And I remember my little cousin, it was an FM radio. I don't know if it did FM and AM, but it had a radio in it. It had lights. The trunk opens up. Well, look, here you go. The trunk opens up, the door. Wow. And they even took the time to paint it chrome, you know? It just doesn't all look like the same dull gray. It's actually painted chrome. The mirrors are painted. We're going cruising tonight.
Your own license plate and lights that work. FM Cruiser. The girls with the passion for fashion. FM Cruiser is a radio. Dolls and cruisers each sold separately. Batteries not included.
Guys, you already know what I'm saying. So this thing has lights, sound, a trunk that opens that you can store stuff in. It has a better paint job. It has an FM radio. You can beep the horn. The steering wheel moves. It has details on the dash. Oh man. And this was done in 2002, guys. 2002. This technology, this was done in 2002. And the red one, the repaint, is now 20 years later, the red repaint, because it's 20 years later. I looked it up. The blue one said it was released in 2002. So basically everything that Haslab is now doing is it's literally right here. This is lights. I don't see the radio option on this, but this is 3754. The link for this will be in my description. Check it. But this scales great with action figures. Laserpants said it as well during his thing. He listed multiple vehicles and he shouted me out multiple times. I appreciate that, Laserpants. Thank you for showing that love, showing that respect, because you didn't have to do that, and I appreciate that you did. Give me some credit. But he showed multiple vehicles, man, a ton of vehicles. Literally, Bobby and Analog looked like they were gonna start to fall asleep with how many vehicles this guy actually had. So go check out the podcast. This is nice, and it's basically the same thing re-released, and it's $37. Now I could go through the trouble of looking up the MSRP on Google and doing all that same stuff that I did in the last video, but if it wasn't enough for these shills in the last video and these sellouts, it's not going to be enough here. I just wanted to show you guys another option, but I'm pretty sure the MSRP on this, even back then or now, is not above $80. I'm pretty sure it's not above $80. But anyways, yeah, this is a really nice option, this Bratz doll. I just wanted to give this some highlight because this looks nice. I might have to pick one up too. Link in the description below. And then also, next subject, a lot of you guys messaged me like, hey, Shartimus talked about you, Shartimus brought you up, and I know you guys are bored, so you want some entertainment, but you guys made it seem like Shartimus said something negative about me. And I went and I checked one of his most recent podcasts where he was talking about the Haslab, and on the contrary, it's the quite opposite. He actually said a lot of positive things about me. So even though you guys want entertainment and you want Articulated Ninja versus Shartimus, it's not gonna happen, man, because it's definitely not gonna happen today. I could tell you that much, because he said nothing but positive things about me. So I have no issue with him at all. I'm not here to attack nobody. I don't want to attack nobody, and I'm definitely not gonna say something negative about someone that didn't say anything negative about me. He actually gave me a lot of compliments about my photography, editing, and all that stuff. So I appreciate that a lot. So thank you to Mr. Prime. I appreciate it. And yeah, guys, so you're gonna have to try a little bit harder than that. But that brings me to the next subject. I did have a lot of people message me and say that JayC was throwing shade. I checked the video. Guys, I really don't think it's that serious, but JayC obviously represents another side of the community. He represents the people, and he's one of them that believes there's so much value here and it's just as good as the Sentinel, as he said himself. I am on the other side, so this is nothing but a rebuttal to some of the points that he brought up. I have nothing against him at all. I don't know the guy, not worried about it, but I'm like, okay, he brought up that he saw some videos and he showed my thumbnail amongst the videos, and the only person that has more views than me regarding the Haslab is Shartimus. Literally, Shartimus is the only one. So I'm the biggest one with views that's giving criticism to this Haslab project. I'm number 2, and Shartimus was pretty, based on what I seen, he understood why some people were upset about the price. He was very understanding, actually, and I appreciate that, because Shartimus is so big. He could have definitely took a stance similar to JayC, which is anybody that's saying anything negative about this is wrong. And that's essentially what JayC's stance was. He was saying that it's not facts, don't claim that it's facts. And how much evidence do I have to give you for you to see that you're not getting what you paid for, even in other instances with this project? How many comparisons?
Trouble, but is price the real problem here?
Yeah, JayC, I'd say so, buddy. I'd say it's mainly the price. Yeah, definitely. I know I have like over 500 comments on my video, but just go through the comments. Nobody is saying that this is an ugly product. I put trash in the thumbnail, and I'm talking about the price. I'm not talking about the product. The product isn't trash. It's trash for that price. It's the price that's trash. Nobody in the comments is saying, oh, this thing is just completely hideous and ugly and disgusting. And no. Even with Robbie Reyes having reuse and being a remold, half of him or whatever, nobody's really talking about that. It's mainly the price here for some plastic with flickering lights. That's what the issue is here.
Is it really the price? I mean, if you go online, if you go into a Marvel Legends Facebook group, or if you just take to YouTube and you scroll down, I mean, like, you know, not surprising, you'll find tons of folks who have decided to make videos about Friday's announcement of the Haslab GhostRider. Some people just giving you the straight up information, some people ranting. Rant videos are not unusual with these Haslabs. Just like, the coming of winter, you can count there are going to be people who are going to start making rant videos and claiming Hasbro's ripping you off and this is not worth the money and yada yada yada.
See, it's not really claims when we're doing direct comparisons to Hasbro's other products. And for you, it's yada yada yada. And I'm not surprised about that. You probably don't care. And based on your comment section, you obviously don't care. I'll get into that. But for me, it's not yada yada yada. It's I see myself and a bunch of other people getting ripped off. And I said before, if you have that much attachment to it, buy it, love it. I want people to enjoy it. If you have that much attachment to it, the price doesn't matter. But for the people that the price does matter to, it's obvious that we're getting ripped off. And I provided multiple examples, multiple comparisons to prove that. So it's really not yada 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 when I'm just concerned about my fellow collector, my fellow consumer, because that's what we are. I mean, I don't know who is on the Hasbro payroll, but it's definitely not me and majority of the people in my comments.
Is the price of $350 really the problem? So I'm going to say no, it's not, and I'm going to explain why that is.
Yes, please. Now I'm interested. Please explain to us why $350 is not a problem. And let's be clear, we're not talking about $350 shipped, and we're talking about $350 in the US, which borders closer to $400. That does not include in other places they're approaching $500. So yes, please explain to me why the $350 before shipping and taxing is not the biggest problem of this project.
You'll find all these experts that will swear to you that this could be made more cheaply. Hasbro, is ripping you off and they're way overpricing this, and they know for fact that this should not cost this much.
Guys, Valor, who's doing amazing things with fucking Action Force, used to work at Hasbro, and he said himself that obviously something is not right here. For these to be marked the same, it doesn't add up at all. If you take the time to take apart a Sentinel, JayC, are you honestly saying if you take apart a Sentinel versus take apart this car, that you're going to have the same amount of pieces, weights, value, ingenuity, engineering? You're telling me that's equal? Obviously it's not. So if it's not, what does that mean? But you're paying the same price. Like I said, you don't need to be an expert, JayC. What does that mean? This is common sense. And I'm not throwing Valor under the bus. Valor did not shit on him. He stayed pretty positive throughout the whole podcast. Go check it out, as I said. But this is still someone that worked on that team. And even he's saying something, it's not adding up. So JayC, there goes some advice from an expert. That's how the expert feels about it. And I definitely would consider him an expert. He's running his own successful action figure company at this point, and he's been doing this for 10 years plus. So that's how the expert feels about it. But I don't think this is about being an expert. This is about just having common sense as a consumer. I used this in my other video. You're saying someone sold me a house for $100 one week, and then they come back a week later with a new project and try to sell me a can of soda. I don't think you need to be an expert to realize, oh my God, I don't think this can of soda is worth the same exact price as this house. Why is the price the same then? That's not being an expert. That's just common sense.
They'll find other items that they'll try and say is similar. I saw one guy, claim there's a Hot Wheels RC Batmobile from the last Batman movie that was released that is selling on Amazon for just a little over $100. Of course, what they forgot to tell you is there's also a more deluxe version that's probably more of the quality of this Haslab that Mattel sold on the Mattel Creations website for $500. But they forgot to mention that to you. They went to the cheaper one that you can find on Amazon and tried to use that as an example.
First off, me and other collectors did not try to use that as an example, JayC. We did use that as an example. And the reason we used that one as an example, or at least let me speak for myself, the reason why I used that one as an example was because you're literally going to sit here and say that $500 Batmobile is of similar quality to the plastic Haslab project that's up right now with flickering lights.
Also a more deluxe version that's probably more of the quality of this Haslab.
More the quality of this Haslab. Okay, JayC, let's go through this. So one, this deluxe version has lights. It's remote control. It comes with a Batman figure inside of it who actually shifts the gears, who actually turns the steering wheel. JayC, what are you talking about? there's mist. You have to put water vapor into it to create mist to come out. So it has that smoke and fog effect coming out of the muffler in the back. It comes on a diorama base that is like a part of the Batcave. The screens light up. It has a bat signal. JayC, what do you mean by more the this deluxe Batmobile is more the quality of what Haslab's doing with the Ghost? Is this a joke? No, this isn't. This is not even comparable. And that's why me and a lot of other people, I'm assuming, didn't use it as a comparison. Because this completely blows that out of the water. JayC, the current car they're marketing does nothing but flicker lights. It has no sound. It's not remote control. It doesn't come with like half the Batcave. This thing literally comes, it's literally a parking ramp. It comes with a ramp that you pull the car up onto when you're done using it. Like you park it on this big ass diorama stand with a lighted bat signal, lighted monitors. JayC, how is this even comparable? Marvel Legends is giving us just a flickering light, no sound, no nothing, and probably repainted figures. How is this even comparable? So if you have the Batcave, you can literally just place that right where you want the car to be, and it looks like a direct replica. Look at the shading, look at the detail on the car. JayC, how is this even comparable to you? So of course I went to the cheaper $100 version that doesn't have all the sparks and the glamour, and even that was still better. But there's no way, you would have to be insane to say that this is of the same quality as the GhostRider project that's happening right now. That's literally crazy. Like, you sound crazy. And it's not just me. Look at your comments, man. You don't go through and like and interact and talk with nobody in your comments. And maybe that's why you're using these comparisons that are so off and like disassociated from reality. How could you compare? This is essentially like a Hot Toys car. You're comparing a Hot Toys figure to a Marvel Legends figure. Is this a joke? Like, the reason I didn't use it, I didn't forget, like you said.
Of course, what they forgot to tell you is there's also a more deluxe version that's...
No, the more deluxe version is way too good and way too deluxe to even be compared. It'd be disrespectful to compare this to what Haslab is trying to give us right now. Literally, you're paying almost $400 for a Bratz car with lights. Shit that was being made in 2002. I'm sorry, that 2002 Bratz car even had an FM radio installed inside of it, and it even made sounds, and the horn actually worked. We don't even get that here. It's literally just lights. So you keep saying it has electronics. It has flickering lights. That's it. No, this Batmobile has real electronics. It has mist that comes out. It has smoke that comes out of the muffler. The lights turn on and off. Literally, the figure is shifting inside the car when you go forward and reverse, and he's turning the steering wheel. That's electronics, not flickering lights. Like I said before, I can go to the dollar store and get flickering lights. So how much is that circuit board actually worth that flickers the lights if I can go buy that from the dollar store? Dude, you just seem so far from reality on this one. And like I said, check your comments. Even the people in your comments are telling you that they're not standing with you on this one. 90% of my comments are people telling me that I made good, valid points. Even if they say they still gonna buy it. And I tell them that's fine. I hope that they enjoy it because I honestly do. Why would you even bring this up? Do some research before you bash someone else's comparison. Because I actually did research. So much research that it was glaringly obvious to me that I should not compare what Haslab is doing to this Batmobile right here. It's two totally different things. And the fact that you honestly believe that this is comparable, this Batmobile with real electronics is comparable to this Haslab project with nothing but plastic repaints and flickering lights, it just goes to show that I probably shouldn't even have this conversation with you in the first place, because that you can't be in reality, man. Like, I love a good healthy debate, but that one, come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta come with something better than that. And then you try to say like, oh, I forgot about it, or other people didn't mention it because we wanted to act like it didn't exist. Dude, it does exist, and it's 10 times better. That's obvious. That's why we didn't mention it. That's why I didn't mention it, at least. It's obvious it's 10 times better. It's radio controlled, comes with the whole diorama prop, comes with a bat computer, comes with a bat signal, a movable figure that's changing the gears. It has fog, it has lights, it has sound. What? There's no comparison, man. I went to the cheaper figure. I went to the cheaper Batmobile because that $100 Batmobile is exactly what the GhostRider car is. It's nothing but plastic and lights with no sound. And even that one is cheaper, and even that one is better because it's still radio controlled. So when you sit here and you say, oh, I think it is worth $350, and you know, you like to say, oh, other people like to claim it's facts, and no, we're just using really good comparison to base our conclusions off of. What comparisons are you using to get this information to say that it is worth $350? Please, what comparison? Show us something.
But because I don't know one way or the other, I could tell you reasons for why I think it's a legitimate price. And I will tell you that, no, I don't think Hasbro's ripping you off here.
And that's what I'm saying is how. This is why, a lot of people may, I'm not saying that you are, but a lot of people may look at you like a shill or a sellout, or like you have some underlining interest invested here. Because how? You can change my mind, JayC. You can. Show me the evidence. How? I am willing to change my mind based on new evidence. You showed no evidence this entire video. Actually, you only showed evidence that proved otherwise. Evidence that I left out because it wasn't even comparable to me. So what evidence? I told you Vala is an expert, and even he agreed. Then you have me and the rest of the toy community giving you tons of examples, and you're still saying here, no, the value's the same. How? You're still adamant on saying, no, they're not ripping you guys off. And how? That's all I'm saying is show some evidence as to how. Everything that you're saying and the way you're bringing it up, it's literally like it's coming out of the mouth of a Hasbro employee. Why? Why is that? Based on no evidence. Me and other collectors are gathering tons of evidence that the value is not here based on what they're giving us, and you're bringing no evidence that the value is here, and you're just saying you believe that it is. Okay, that's fine. You're allowed to have your beliefs, of course, but I want to see it from your perspective. Just show us some examples of how, because the Sentinel is not a good example of how. That's a good example of no, it's not. I get why Ryan Ting and Dan have to vouch for this thing and push it and market it. They're employed. They work for the company. This is their job. I never throw no shade at those guys. I understand they're just doing their job. They're not the ones that make the decisions. They're not the ones that put the price tag on it. I don't condone anybody harassing those guys in any way, shape, or form. They're just trying to provide for their families. But what I don't understand is how you sit here, you swear that there's so much value here, or you swear that it's actually worth the price, but can't show us no examples of how it's worth the price. What is that based on?
I think, obviously Hasbro's a business, and, there's a profit margin built into this campaign. So yes, Hasbro is going to make money on this campaign if it gets funded.
I bet. Because I showed evidence they're charging the same amount for this product as they did for another product that was like 27 inches tall and 9 pounds. And this is nowhere near that. So I bet that their profit margins for per unit sold is going to look really nice.
But I don't think they are outrageously price gouging you on this.
Based on what evidence? How are they not outrageously price gouging? Are you ignoring everything that the toy community, all the evidence that people are providing? See, I'm not ignoring evidence. You are. I'm willing to change my mind based on new evidence. You're not. It's like you're just ignoring the entire community that's showing tons of examples of how they can put this product out for cheaper. Because a ton of other companies have. Before COVID, after COVID, before inflation, during inflation, a ton of other companies have put similar products out much cheaper. And they have nothing but flickering lights, and some of them even have sounds, and some of them are even remote controlled.
Yes, I do think if Hasbro wanted to release the GhostRider and Robbie Reyes more cheaply, they could do that. They could strip out all the electronics. They could just essentially give you a plastic shell that you could put a figure inside of, and then the figure itself, and they could probably sell that for under $100. But I would imagine that would be extremely cheap if they did.
Yes, they can do it. Look at all the evidence that me and other collectors have provided. You have to step out of your own echo chambers. Please, whether you have interest involved, it's not a good look. You have to step out of your own echo chambers. Yes, they can provide it. They chose not to, or they choose not to. And then we have influencers like you and fanboys that say, oh no, this is great. The value is fine. And that's how a standard figure gets to be $45 in Target USD. How does that make any sense? Well, because people like you say, oh no, they're doing a great job, they're giving us value. So they just keep on pushing. They keep on pushing the envelope. At what point is enough enough? You're saying that they need to strip it all down of all the electronics. Once again, it's just flickering lights. And all the examples we showed, they don't need to strip it down of nothing. This is what it's worth. With those flickering lights and a few flame pieces of plastic, translucent flame effects, what it's worth is $100 or less. what it's worth, definitely 150 or less. And the community has given multiple examples of that, and you just choose to ignore it. So yeah, I'm done. But if you're willing to get on a live and talk about it, or it's just a healthy debate, you feel how you feel about it, I feel how I feel about it, and that's it. There's no hard feelings, no personal attacks, no none of that stuff. But I at least try to bring evidence for why I feel the way that I feel. Well, honestly, I haven't seen much evidence for why you feel like it's worth the price that they're asking for. But JayC, you're gonna find out pretty soon that, you know, you throw direct shots or you throw shade or you bring up things, especially without evidence, people are going to reply. People are going to answer. Other influencers are going to reply. Other influencers are going to answer. The same way people have a right to answer, debate with me and all that stuff. I just say, just please bring evidence. That's what I appreciate. So that's all I'm doing here. It's nothing personal against you. I just don't understand how this makes sense. Like, make it make sense to me, please. You have a 10 times bigger platform than me. None of that stuff matters. All that matters to me is the actual truth backed by evidence. So that's what I'm focused on. It's one thing to say, oh, I think the value's there because I love the figure so much, so that's it. That's it. I just believe the value's there because I love the figure so much, I'm gonna get it regardless. At that point, and that's the same way I feel about the people in my comments that say that, yo, leave the guy alone. He loves the figure. He waited for this figure. Just leave him alone. He loves it. He's not bothering nobody. He's willing to pay whatever amount for it. I hope that it makes him happy. But that's not the case here. And you're not a regular consumer. You're an influencer. And you're not even excited about the product yourself. As you said, this isn't even your GhostRider. Possibly didn't even back it yet. I don't know. But why do you have such an incentive to prove that the value's there with no evidence? Why do you have such an incentive to combat the other influencers like myself that are trying to provide evidence to prove that the value's not there? Why is it that serious? I have no idea, man. Let me say it again. I have nothing personal against you. I didn't take no personal jabs, shots, none of that stuff. I was just addressing what you said in the video since you wanted to address what me and other similar collectors have said in our videos. That's all. In closing, it's bittersweet because on one hand, I don't want this to get funded. I don't want them to get away with this because this will only show them and other companies how dumb and blind and addicted the average consumer pool actually is. But on the other hand, for the people that do love it, I really want them to get it and enjoy it and be happy. Life is so stressful. So anything that helps us escape that's not a substance or violence, I am all for it. But not when I feel like it's just so blatantly we're getting walked all over. But shout out to anybody in the community that's keeping it real about this entire situation, man. Or just keeps it real when it comes to Marvel Legends in general. Talker Art, X-Manny87, Elite Legends, Mad About Toys, Spider Criminal, 3POA Podcast, and the list goes on. But this video can't. Be safe. 1. G.I. Joe, classified, Marvel Legends on my mind, Valaverse in NECA time, Mythic Legions I must find, SH Figure Arts I can't lie, Refuting got my pockets dry, Set Action Figures for life, Articulated Ninja is nice, yeah, you might wanna subscribe, Action